Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some BMS Falcon 4.33. Alright, so if you caught the previous video, that was the ramp start of the AV-8B Harrier 2, and I am continuing that mission to complete the BARCAP that I had originally set up as part of this little test mission here. So basically I'm going to show you like some of the navigation and of course how the Harrier flies. There's not going to be any combat in this, so if you came here expecting boom flowers, I hate to disappoint you. I am trying to figure out why my autopilot is not on, though. Let me go ahead and see if I can set that up real quick here. Whoa! Uh-oh. I should probably increase my speed. I'm still very new to the Harrier here. It wasn't available when I first flew in Falcon 4. Alright, so I have it set to steer point, and I've selected the steer point ahead of me, which is steer point number 2. And we also have the altitude hold on, so it should keep us roughly around 6,000 feet, maybe a little bit lower than that. Okay, so the navigation is pretty easy. Everything, of course, is right there in front of you, and on the left side, as you saw, is where the autopilot controls are. Alright, 2 appears to be in position, so we are good to go. Our flight path is going to have us going out to sea, and then we're going to hang a left and come back inland. We're going to fly over a nearby airbase, and then we're going to head towards the Demilitarized zone between North and South Korea and just kind of poke around there and make sure there's, nobody encroaching on our airspace. Alright, so we'll select the next waypoint here, and we'll start automatically turning since I've got the autopilot on. And I might have to close up his position. I don't like him so far out. I don't really expect any enemies because, like I said, this is a test mission, so I really didn't put any enemies in. But it does say that we need to be on station for like 30 minutes. I'm not sure that I have enough gas for that though, so I think we might actually break the rules on that one. Alright, so we are lined up here. The autopilot seems to be pretty effective. It does kind of waggle, as you can see, going left and right, so I've got to actively use the joystick to just kind of center it up so it'll stop waggling all over the place there. But we should be there in about 1 minute and 35 seconds. And let me go ahead and bring 2 in. Alright, where is it? There it is. Close up formation, please.
Jump. 1, 2, bring it in. 2, closing up.
There we go. Good man, good man. Alright. Now, you can remove the little things that you see up there. You saw I just got rid of the flaps. You cannot get rid of the exhaust angle. That is not something that they have put in there just yet. But I kind of like having that up because it reminds me whether or not I have the thrust vectors set properly, or if I forgot to change the nozzles, or I should say the nozzle position. Okay, so we're slightly off course, but we're still heading towards the waypoint here, and we are right about 6,000, so everything is looking pretty good. I'm going to zoom in a touch here. 15 miles out should be good. And once we get to about 30 seconds, or actually no, about 20 seconds away, I'll switch this over. Sometimes I'll wait till about 10, but it depends on how fast I'm going. We're going pretty fast right now. We're at 464 knots, if you can see on the left side of the HUD there. Alright, let's go ahead and switch it to the next waypoint. So it's going to automatically turn us around. There's our little depth cable at the top that blows the canopy off in case we need to eject, which hopefully we won't need to do that on this mission. I might remind you, I'm still very, very new with this whole Harrier business here, so I'm hoping that I can actually show off some of the vertical capabilities of this craft once we come back to our airbase. Alright, a little bit more. We're kind of wide, so we're going to need to swing to the left a little bit more aggressively here. Look at that water. That is awesome. That is so awesome. I'm still quite impressed at how the graphics look now. Definitely a good thing. What I would like to know, however, is why in the hell is my seat not armed? Okay, there we go. I'm pretty sure I armed that. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm pretty sure that I had set it to armed, and I guess I must have hit it on accident or something between the takeoff and now. Okay, but we are headed back inland, and we're supposed to pass over one of the air bases, so I think we might pull a Maverick and buzz the tower on our way past. But we do want to make sure that we are on course here. According to this, we've got about roughly 3 minutes before we get there. Alright, let's get a little bit of an outside view here, make sure the 2 is in formation. I don't have any carriers or anything out at sea, so we can't make a pit stop just yet. If I did, the only carriers that you can land on with this thing are the regular Nimitz class carriers. You cannot land on the landing ships that this thing traditionally uses. For some strange reason, it hasn't been modeled correctly, and I'm sure it's a work in progress, but you do need to remember that Falcon BMS is designed, or developed I should say, by basically fans of the game. There's no like official support for this thing. So everything that you're seeing here, including the Harrier, that was all just fellow players that have a passion for this, that, you know, put the time, effort, and energy into making it what it is. I would say they did a pretty damn good job. I did check out the Tomcat to see if it could be flown. Let me see, what do we have here? Okay, I don't think any of those are critical, so I'm just going to leave everything as it is there. Let's see, our time is close to 9:30. I've got the frequencies in, by the way. I did that during one of the cuts here. Okay, so UHF is in, VHF is in. Got our bullseye location on both MFDs. Okay, everything looks pretty good. And we've got about 6,300 pounds of fuel, so we should be good to go. Alright, so we're heading straight for the airport. So I started to say, I did check out the Tomcat because that was a concern for me personally, because I love the Tomcat and I would love to be able to fly it in more combat sims. I can fly it in FSX, but that's pretty much the only thing that I can fly it in right now. You can fly it in this particular sim, however, it has not gotten any love whatsoever in the cockpit, which is a little disappointing. Alright, 2. Why don't you give me your status here?
2, all clear.
Okay, 2 is all clear. Cool. Alright, 2, hang in there. We're going to go buzz the tower in a second here. I'm going to go inverted and bring us down to the deck, and we'll just kind of oversee this airport here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the autopilot off. There we go, autopilot is disengaged. And let's flip this sucker upside down here, shall we? Whee! Alright, let the nose fall through the horizon. There we go. We'll turn ourselves back around and we'll hit the deck. The flight model on this thing is pretty legit. If there is one complaint that I have as far as the vertical characteristics of this aircraft, there is a bit of a bug. If your frames per second drops below like 30, it can give you the jitters on the ground, but hopefully it won't be too bad with this particular recording. I've tried to minimize the impact. Alright, there we go. That ought to wake them up. I hope they didn't have any coffee in their hands at the time. Okay, let's get out of here before somebody reports us. Okay. So now we'll need to change the waypoint to the next one. You can do it automatically if you have in your settings for steer point autopilot as opposed to just a regular 3D axis autopilot. It does lower your rating whether you're an ace or a veteran pilot or whatnot, but it's more of a personal preference really. It's all in how you prefer to fly. Me, I like the 3D autopilot, so it'll keep you level basically if I need to concentrate on doing other things. For example, turning on the autopilot. There we go. Alright, so we're basically set and our altitude is being held right around 2300 thereabouts. And that way I can just concentrate on the scenery. Look at that. I'm hoping 2 is still in position. We'll turn around and take a look at him in a second here. 2, where are you? Oh, I thought he was... Oh, there he is. There he is. He's way off to the left of the screen there. Alright, so he's in place. This is good. We'll get a little bit of a close-up view. Such a beautiful bird. I am really glad that somebody gave some love to this aircraft, because this is like one of the most underrated aircraft in all time there. And I do think that the F-35 Bravo model is a worthy successor. By the way, that's our title shot there. But yeah, this aircraft was, in my opinion, ahead of its time when it came out. And the fact that it's still in service today is definitely a good thing. Alright, we are closing in on the first of our BARCAP waypoints. So traditionally, if you're doing like a BARCAP mission, you're going to orbit between this waypoint and the next waypoint. I'm going to go ahead and take off the autopilot. We're not going to hang out here for 30 minutes, but we are going to have a little bit of fun getting close to the deck, maybe peering into people's windows, you know, the usual tomfoolery. And there seems to be what appears to be an office park off to the right, just past that river. I'm thinking I might want to go investigate. You know, just make sure they're not up to any shenanigans or anything like that. Let's go ahead and bring it down to the deck. Now 2 is probably going to stay at a distance. I noticed that the AI doesn't usually try to stay close to the ground. They'll generally try to stay above you and off to the side so that they're, you know, out of your way. Matter of fact, he's gone. Where is he? He was right there. Huh. Oh well, I'm sure he'll catch up. Alright, so we got that office park up ahead. I'm assuming it's an office park. It's probably a downtown for some city or the other in South Korea. Right here is pretty much the border between South and North Korea. And again, I don't know if this is what the real life Korea would be like. But needless to say, we are just going to kind of poke our heads in and make sure everybody's behaving themselves. And we're going to pull up. There we go. That ought to wake everyone up. They'll be talking about that one at the water cooler. And we're going to head for the hills. Oh, there's 2. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He stays above you and ahead of you. And that's the flares. The bloom is set a little bit high, so I'll have to adjust that. It's a little too bright for my liking. I really don't think flares are that bright, especially in the daytime. Alright, let's get ourselves in the right direction here, and then I'm going to go ahead and switch the waypoint to our next waypoint, which is the second of our 2 BARCAP points there. But to get to it, we're going to continue following the nap of the Earth here. Alright, let's bring it down some. I'm thinking we can follow this river for a little bit, and then we'll go over that mountain over there. See what's waiting for us on the other side. Hopefully no SAMs. Well, I already know there's no SAMs because I didn't add any to this thing, but yeah, I can imagine. You'll notice on the right-hand side that the RWR is emitting. It is looking to see if there's anything that is out there that's tracking us. Alright, so we got this mountain up ahead here. How low can we go? I'm going to swing out to the left just a touch here. So far, frames are looking pretty damn good. I'm not getting very much stuttering at all. And this is with high texture resolutions, which you can add in the config panel on the launcher window. Alright, here we go. I think the high textures definitely give it more definition. Well, it's worth it. It is worth it. Alright, I'm going to try and see if I can get a little bit lower here. This is one of the things that the Harrier is famous for, is getting down to treetop level just below the enemy radar and then popping up and firing off a couple of shots. You can see we've got some Mavericks on the inboard pylons there. Those are AGM-65Ds, Deltas. Alright, I'm going to pull up here. Whee! Alright, let's go back down. It takes a little while for the chase camera to catch up. It still looks pretty cool, cinematically anyway. Okay, let me see where we are. Oh hell, there's our waypoint off to the left. Okay. I'm going to change the waypoint to the next one. Like I said, we're not going to hang out here. Normally, if we were doing a BARCAP, if you want to succeed in this mission as a mission, you would stay here for about 30 minutes because that's the required time frame. If you get back sooner, you basically fail the mission or you do poorly. And it does reflect it in your pilot log after the fact. Alright, so our next waypoint is past those mountains, hence the reason why it's X'd out there. But we're just going to stay low to the deck here, so that way I can do some more sightseeing, and we might twist and turn along some of these mountain paths here. I do want to check this out. I don't think at this speed I'm going to be able to go in between the buildings, but I certainly can pass by. Good morning, South Korea! Everybody's awake now. Okay, so there is our mountain. We'll probably need to go a little bit to the right here. I'm just going to kind of go up the side of the mountain here and pop over the other side. So we'll see again what's waiting for us over there. We should be back to our base relatively quickly, and once we get closer to the base, I'll try to put this thing into VTOL mode and experiment with that a little bit here. But for now, let's do a little bit of air show aerobatics. I'm thinking we have just enough speed to pull off an Immelman. Come on, baby, you can hang in there. There we go. Alright, rolling over. Nice. We didn't even get below 200. This is awesome. Okay. So now we're heading back the way we came. And that little flashing yellow indicates that it is searching, making sure there's no SAMs locking onto us or enemy presence. I'm going to rotate it back around and head back the way that we need to go. Look at the textures on that mountain. It's pretty freaking cool right there. Alright, a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, so we know the general direction that we need to go, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the deck. Good deal. Yeah, they really did a good job representing the countryside and the cities in South Korea and also in North Korea. I haven't been up there since the last time I played Falcon 4, but if it looks anything like this, then we did a good thing. Why the hell is my damn ejection seat not armed again? Son of a... I don't know what's going on with that. I must have something rebound on my keyboard incorrectly there, because I'm like noticing that that thing keeps popping up. I don't think that's a bug. I think that might be, you know, my configuration file or something. But it looks like we're armed again, so in case I need to eject, I can actually do so. Alright, let's see if we can get a little bit closer to the deck here. So how about a few quick facts about the Harrier, as I come down as low as I can get here. First off, if you didn't know, the AV-8B Harrier is based on the original design from the British aerospace company of the Hawker Siddeley Harrier, which of course saw extensive use with British forces in the 70s and the 80s, in particular the Falklands War in 1982 is where it was most famous. Now this particular version was designed also by McDonnell Douglas, and the AV-8B made its maiden flight in November of 1981, November 5th to be precise, so this aircraft just had a birthday, which is kind of appropriate because the Marine Corps' birthday is also in November. It's November the 10th, and coincidentally, my birthday is coming up as well, November the 18th. Not that that has any bearing on our story, but I just figured I'd throw that out there. Anyway, it didn't get introduced into military service till 1985, and it's been in service with the United States Marine Corps since then. Alright, give me a second here. I'm going to try and see if I can pull this sucker into a loop. It's good to see the 2's doing one as well. That's awesome. I didn't know that the AI would match you on maneuvers, but that's pretty cool. Alright, We are over the top. I'm going to drop the power all the way and bring us down. Let me see if I can change my camera angle real quick here. There we go. Okay, we are hitting the deck. Time to pull up. Not too shabby. And if you're wondering where it gets the power to pull this thing off, this thing's got what's known as the Pegasus engine in there. Technically, it's the Rolls-Royce F402-RR-408 vectored thrust turbofan. Yeah, that's a mouthful. It produces 23,500 pounds-feet, or 105 kilonewtons, if you prefer. And that will give us a max speed of Mach 0.9, or roughly translated about 585 knots, or 673 miles per hour. We've got a max range of about 1,200 nautical miles. I imagine that's probably with wing tanks and the centerline tank and all of that good jazz attached to it there. In addition to which, this thing has a service ceiling of about 50,000 feet, and I've been told that it can hover at a maximum altitude of about 5,000 feet. It doesn't need to be within ground effect in order to hover. However, due to the overheating issue with the engine, it doesn't do that often. Let's let off a few flares here. That's a beautiful thing. But remind me to change the bloom on this, because that's a little too much there. Alright, there we go. Okay, so as far as munitions, this thing is, of course, a workhorse. It saw a lot of use in the Gulf War and, of course, the subsequent Iraq War. Pretty much anywhere the Marines have gone since like about 1985 when it was first introduced in the service, this sucker's been there, and it has definitely held its own. While it does have one of the highest accident rates owing to the uniqueness of the jet, usually with takeoff and landing, if something goes wrong, it can be very catastrophic. But still, all things considered, it also has a rather exemplary service record as far as the amount of sorties that it's done and so on. Armament-wise, you can carry gun pods on this sucker. You can carry the Mark 80 series of bombs like the 82, the 83, laser-guided bombs, GPS-guided JDAMs, AGM-65s as you see under the wings, that's the Mavericks, as well as the AGM-84 Harpoon anti-ship missile and the AGM-88 Harm missile, which would be used for seed strikes or suppression of enemy air defenses. As far as air-to-air armament, you can see I've got 4 sidewinders under the wing. This thing is capable of carrying the AMRAAM, but it's not something that you see often on this sucker. All told, you can carry a total of about 13,200 pounds of external stores across 7 hardpoints on the wing. Alright, we are getting close to our destination here, which is, of course, where we took off from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down over this small hill. We're going to overfly that lake and go around the mountain on our way back to the airbase. And then, when I get closer to the airbase, I'm going to put this thing into the vertical and show you what we can do here. I might add that I have tried this a couple of times before doing this final recording here, and let's just say they weren't all that spectacular, so I'm hoping I can redeem myself this time around here. As far as you're concerned, these other takes that I did never happened. This one is the only one that's going to count, I promise you that. Or you can at least laugh at how noobish I am trying to bring this sucker in. Alright, but be that as it may, our airport is directly ahead of us. Well, actually, it's ahead and a little off to the left, so we're going to call for clearance now.
Jump 1-1, inbound for landing.
And then 2 should be calling as well.
Good morning, Jump 1, Gangneon on approach, runway 08, welcome back.
Okay.
Jump 1-2, inbound for landing.
And as expected, there's 2. So he's probably going to get into the pattern. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring us down somewhat, and you're going to want to take a look at my exhaust angle. I have no idea where 2 just went. I'm sure he's getting into the pattern now anyway, so we'll catch up with him once we're on the ground. Alright, keep an eye on my exhaust angle in the upper left-hand corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn away from the airport, and when I'm kind of on a downwind there, we're going to start adjusting that along with our speed. I don't know what the exact speed limits are, but I'm pretty sure Betty will remind us if I start getting close to stall speed here. Yep, speak of the devil. Called that one. Alright, so I've got the nozzles at 20% right now. I'm going to continue turning around here, and we're going to increase the angle of the nozzles. We're at 40 right now. My goal is to bring it down to 90, but we can also fly backwards if need be. We can extend these suckers all the way down to 120. Got it at 50 now. We're up to 60. I might push it to 70 here. There we go. Alright, let's point towards the airport.
Good morning. Jump 11, gangman tower, cleared for landing. Runway 08, check gear down.
Uh-oh.
Jump
Okay,
12,
now I am going to need to delicately balance here.
heading 265.
Alright, cool beans. We got our orders. Whoops. Okay, this is where it's going to get real interesting, folks. I have no guarantees on what's going to happen here, but I am positive thinking here. We will bring this bird down in one piece. Okay, once we get a little bit closer, I'm going to put this thing at 120%. Technically, it should be degrees. I don't know why they've done it in percentages.
Jump 11, execute missed approach. Clearance canceled. Vector 355. Contact tower.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm afraid I will not. No, this is not a missed approach. We are coming in. Alright, so let's put it to 120. We'll pitch the nose up. And there we go. Let me give it a little bit of speed. Okay, we are now at a full stop. Sort of. Now we're going backwards. Alright, let me pitch the nose down just a touch here. Gotta be really careful with this thing. Whoa! Like I said, you gotta be really careful with this thing because it can go off kilter in a matter of seconds. Whenever you see the tailplane fluttering like that, yeah, we either need more power or we need to change our angle of attack. Okay, but I think I got it now. I think I got it. I might want to change the camera angle because I kind of prefer the chase camera for this here. Alright, there we go. Let's do some rudder action and turn ourselves towards the parking spot. We are not coming down on a runway. We're just going to try and put her down right over at the parking spot there. Okay, we're going up, so I need to drop some power here. Watch for tail flutter. Okay, there we go. Let's add some more power. Well, that stops. At least we're falling in the right direction, so you know what? I'm not going to complain. Okay, there we go. Oh, we're still going up again. I got to drop some more power.
Jump 12.
Alright, here we go. Here we go.
Maintain 160 knots. Turn right heading 345. Vector's final runway 08.
Well, sounds like two's coming in while we're trying to land here, but I'm going to see if I can push us forward just a touch. Alright, right there should be good. Getting a little more flutter. Now we should start picking up the ground effect as well, so I really don't have to do too many changes. The ground will actually deflect us upwards as long as I don't drop power too dramatically. Ah, crap, we're ballooning. That's the other thing with ground effect. It does cause you to balloon up. Okay, right here should be good. Come on, baby, come on. Hold it together. Oh, come on, 10 more feet. I can do this. There we go, and we're down.
Jump 11, gangman tower. Next time, get clearance before landing.
Whoops. Alright, lady. Yeah, we'll try to keep that in mind for next time. Alright, but we are down, and already you can see the bug I was talking about. Since my frames per second dipped a little bit below 30, we start having this little shimmy and shake. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the engines and put on the parking brake, and that should start to calm down. But that's it, folks. We're done.
Jump 12. Turn right to final approach course 080. Slow to approach speed.
Okay, so while we watch 2 come in, I want to thank you all for watching. As always, feel free to give me a like if you have enjoyed this little slice of Falcon BMS. And don't forget to subscribe, that way you'll get notifications when I put these suckers online. Just so you're aware, this is going to be replacing DCS World 1.5 for a little bit, because after that last update on Sunday, they done broke my DCS. I can't get the damn thing to work right now. So until they fix that, we'll be seeing a little bit more of this and FSX. This episode is in honor of veterans and active duty service persons, both in wartime and at peace, from all branches and all nations. Thank you so much for your service this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2015. This episode is also especially dedicated to the men and women of the United States Marine Corps. Happy 240th birthday, Marines. Hoorah, Devil Dogs. Semper Fi, and thank you for watching. And as always, ciao.